If your model picker suddenly shows Sol, Terra, and Luna, the obvious question is, which one is best? That is usually the wrong question. The useful question is, what kind of task are you giving the model? In this video, I will show a simple way to split work across 3 model tiers. One tier handles high-volume lightweight work. One tier handles everyday production. And one tier is reserved for difficult or high-risk decisions. First, an important boundary. The names Sol, Terra, and Luna, and the capability descriptions around them, come from public media reporting. I could not find an official OpenAI product page that confirms the exact naming, availability, pricing, or limits. So treat this as a practical model routing framework, not a confirmed product specification. The framework is still useful even if the final product names change. Here is the one-sentence map. Luna is for fast, high-volume, lightweight work. Terra is for balanced everyday production. Sol is for the hard problems where a mistake costs more than an expensive request. Most people make the same mistake at first. They send every task to the strongest model. It feels safe. But simple tasks become slower and more expensive. And important tasks still may not get the careful review they deserve. Let us start with Sol. Think of Sol as the expert you bring in when the task has many constraints and failure has real consequences. Typical examples include architecture reviews, complex code migrations, defensive security analysis, and long-running multi-step work. Imagine that your team needs to move a core data model. The question is not only how to write a migration. You also need a rollback plan, compatibility checks, risk analysis, and a clear way to validate the result. That is the kind of task where deeper reasoning is worth the time. Sol is not the model you ask to classify 10,000 short messages. Its value is not simply that it is expensive. Its value is that you use it on decisions that matter. Now look at Terra. Terra is the tier most teams would probably use every day. It fits meeting notes, first drafts, product requirement documents, ordinary code explanations, and routine business analysis. These tasks need context and decent structure. But they usually do not need the deepest possible reasoning loop. For example, take a content team. The team needs a short brief from a meeting, an outline for an article, and a first pass on the copy. The work matters, but it is repeated every week. Terra is the practical middle layer, reliable enough for production, without treating every document like an emergency. Then there is Luna. Luna belongs at the front of a workflow. Use it for tagging, classification, quick summaries, duplicate detection, and basic intent routing. Think of a support inbox. Before a human or a more capable model reads every message, Luna can identify whether it is a product question, a billing issue, a technical problem, or a complaint. Each request is small. There may be thousands of them. Speed, cost, and consistency matter more than a long essay. That is why a lightweight tier is valuable. The most useful setup is not choosing one winner. It is a pipeline. Luna filters and labels the incoming work. Terra turns the useful inputs into documents, analysis, or working drafts. Sol handles the hardest edge cases, important reviews, and decisions that need deeper reasoning. Here is a concrete customer support example. Luna sorts incoming messages and flags duplicates. Terra prepares the normal response and a concise ticket summary. Sol only enters when there is a complex complaint, a contract question, a system-wide failure, or a possible security issue. The same logic works for a development team. Luna can classify logs and run a first pass on simple errors. Terra can draft tests, explain code, and improve routine documentation. Sol can review a migration plan, examine a risky refactor, or challenge the assumptions behind a security-sensitive change. Before choosing a tier, ask 3 questions. First, what happens if the answer is wrong? If the outcome could cause a customer incident, financial loss, or a system failure, move up the stack or require a stronger final review. Second, how much context and multi-step reasoning does the task need? Long documents, many constraints, and decisions across several systems deserve more depth. Third, how many times will this task run? If it runs thousands of times a day, latency and cost become part of the product. There is one final trap. Good routing does not replace good task design. A clear brief, the right source material, controlled tool permissions, and explicit acceptance checks still matter. A well-scoped mid-tier request can beat a confused flagship request. So the takeaway is simple. Use Luna for fast volume. Use Terra for steady production. Use Sol for critical hard problems. Do not start by asking which model is strongest. Start by deciding what the task actually needs. That is how model choice becomes a workflow decision instead of a guessing game.